Why it is always Hindi versus Tamilnadu from 90s to till date? Why Tamilnadu is often rejecting Hindi? Many people can ask, Hindi is just a language. Why can't these South Indian states and Tamil Nadu just accept it? But Tamil people do not treat Tamil as their mere language. They treat the language as their pride, rich history and culture, since Tamil is the oldest classical living language in the world. So to understand this, we must know the history. In this video, we are going to see the history. Welcome to Youturn, and this is Nandini Madheshwaran. The first serious outbreak of Hindi resistance in Tamil Nadu was not started after independence. It started even before independence and even India became republic. At that time, the Madras presidency was still under British rule. So Madras presidency did not comprise only of current Chennai. It combined of all the South Indian states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, some parts of Andhra Pradesh, and it extended up to Odisha. And that big was Madras presidency. In 1937, the Indian National Congress won the elections in the Madras presidency, and Rajagopalachari, who is also called as Rajaji, became the first chief minister. Congress thought a thing that when Hindi is made a national language of India, it would be very easy to unite the people from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and every people would get equal opportunities. Seems Rajaji's idea was good enough to unite the people, right? But here we have to understand that India is not a country that people all over in India speaks one language. In fact, the beauty of India is unity in diversity. North Indian people would not speak the languages of South Indian people, and South Indian people will not speak the languages of North Indian people, and everybody has their own identity, own language and own culture. To prove it, Sir George Gregerson's 12-volume of Linguistic Survey of India identifies that in 19th century, from the year of 1903 to 1923, nearly in India alone, 179 languages and 544 dialects were spoken by the Indian people. So every language has its own identity, has its own cultural values and great and rich history. So how fair it would be to make all the entire people to speak one language and to impose one language in such a country. And within few weeks after Rajaji came into power, he gave a controversial decision. He said that Hindi would be made compulsory across the schools in the province, especially in the secondary classes. Many people in Tamil society felt that this was more than language policy, and they felt that something bad was going to happen. They saw it as an attack on their identity, culture and dignity, since Tamil is one of the oldest classical surviving language, as I said before. And by June 3rd of 1938, protests had erupted across the towns like Madras, Tanjore, Trichy and in many other Tamil Nadu districts. Hundreds of students and volunteers stood in front of schools holding placards refusing to enter into classrooms where Hindi were being forced or imposed on them. And the placards were written as "Don't impose Hindi." Among the thousands who joined the movement, two young men became the first martyrs of language revolution. One was L. Nadarajan. Nadarajan was a young man from Chennai who was about only 20 years old. He did not come from any political background, or he was not a scholar. He was just a simple man, came from a simple background, who loved his mother tongue more than anything. On December 5th of 1938, Nadarajan was arrested for protesting in front of the Hindu Theological High School of Madras. He stood with others who are protesting against Hindi compulsory order. The police even offered him that he could be released when he wrote an apology, but he refused the order. Nadarajan was sentenced to rigorous imprisonment, and his health quickly deteriorated while in custody. And by December 30 of 1938, he was admitted to the government hospital because he was suffering from the severe stomach illness. Despite treatment, on January 15 of 1938, Nadarajan died at his very young age. Thousands of students attended his funeral procession, which electrified the protest even more. Less than 2 months later, another young man called Thalamuthu from Kumbakonam was arrested. Like Nadarajan, he was not born into politics or he came from a powerful background. He was a simple man who loved his mother tongue, and he protested against the Hindi imposition in Tamil Nadu. Thalamuthu was arrested on 13th February of 1939 for leading the protest against the compulsory Hindi order. He was also sentenced to imprisonment rigorously with fine. Even while he was in prison, Thalamuthu was very strong. He went to prison shouting slogans like "Down with Hindi! Tamil may flourish." And soon after his imprisonment, but his prison conditions were very harsh and his health was declined on 12th March of 1939, and Thalamuthu died in captivity very few weeks after Natarajan's death. And by early 1939, two young men sacrificed their lives for the love of their mother tongue, and they were the first martyrs of the Hindi imposition. Because of their massive sacrifice, the activists began to honor their courage and carry their names as a symbol of Tamil resistance. And after independence, a historic memorial was built near Chennai to enshrine their memory, and a famous government building was named as Thalamuthu Natarajan Maligai. Eventually, under massive pressure, the ruling party of the Madras presidency withdrew the compulsory Hindi on 21st February of 1940. But this was just the beginning, and Hindi returned again and again. In 1946, Congress returned to power and they forced Hindi again. But this time, the leaders like C.N. Annadurai and Thandai E.V. Periyar Ramasamy led the mass protest. Thousands of students and thousands of people were behind them. And after the massive protest, for the third time, Hindi was again withdrew. In 1947, India became independent. And in 1950, India has its own constitution. And at that time, the government announced that Hindi would be the official language and with also English, but it was allowed only till 1965. But why only those 15 years? Because in that time, English was the official language and everything was in English. So the officials at least needed 15 years to completely remove English from the government. But then Tamilnadu leaders did not stop or silence their voices. They warned the people that if Hindi becomes a compulsory language or official language, then India will become a Hindi nation. And in under pressure, July 1950, Tamil Nadu removed the compulsory Hindi, and for the fourth and last time it was stopped. From then on, the government schools stopped teaching Hindi in compulsory. In 1952, the central government ordered Hindi names that should be mentioned in the government offices. But Periyar blackened the name with tar, and the same was done by Annadurai in Coimbatore, and thousands of people were arrested for this. In 1959 and especially in January 26 of 1965, many efforts were taken by central government to make Hindi as only official language to the Union. To enforce this, the President of India issued an order stating that from January 26 of 1965, only Hindi will be used as an administrative language. As part of this push, the central government also tried to impose Hindi through the mass communications. All India Radio, which was run by the central government, began to use the name called Akashvani in the radio stations located in Tamil Nadu. Tamil people strongly opposed this move. Tamil writers, artists and cultural figures refused to participate in the radio programs which was given in the Hindi names, and their boycott was very firm and united. Because of this strong resistance, the central government was forced to remove the name Akashvani across the radio stations in Tamil Nadu. Then came 1963. In 1963, huge all-party protests were held in Chennai. In that meeting, Annadurai publicly warned that if Hindi is imposed, Tamil people will be reduced to the second-class citizens in their own land. In 1963 to 64, DMK buried the constitutional copies or constitutional sections related to Hindi, and leaders were jailed. The countdown to 1965 had begun, and in 1965 of January 26, Hindi was supposed to become the only official language in India. And on this time, Tamil Nadu's outrage was very massive. Black flags were raised across the state, students led the mass protest, shopkeepers shut their shops, and entire cities came to a halt. For the first time in Tamil history, people began self-immolation to oppose Hindi. And 7 men were buried themselves alive for the language revolution. Police openly fired on students, and in Madurai and Chidambaram, students were shot dead and blood flowed on Tamil streets, and for the 3 weeks, Tamil Nadu looked like a war zone. At least 63 people were killed during the police firing. Most of them were arrested or injured, and most of the records were burnt or destroyed after. And finally, the central government backed down, saying that it would not impose Hindi anymore. And after 2 years of protest in 1967, people delivered their verdict. The Congress party was defeated badly and DMK came into power. In 1968, CN Annadurai became the chief minister and he officially removed Hindi from the government schools of Tamil Nadu. And from that, Hindi never came to Tamil Nadu. Every chief minister after him, Karunanidhi, MGR, Jayalalitha continued this policy that Tamil Nadu would never accept Hindi imposition. But the core truth is Tamil Nadu does not hate any language. But people may ask why it accepts only English. Because English is a neutral language that does not belong to any of the Indian states. But when Hindi is imposed, it becomes powerful. The power always swallows the smaller languages, and that is why Tamil Nadu resists, not out of hatred, but out of self-respect, dignity, survival and equality. To know more stories, subscribe to Youturn. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.